Hello, hockey players and hockey families. My name is Lee Elias, and welcome to this episode of the Champions Circle, powered by the Chicago Steel. And on this episode, we are privileged to have each MVP for the most recent Chicago Steel Icebreaker tournament, which concluded on September 11th of 2022, so we can date this, and included 42 teams from across North America. Our MVPs all won the coveted gold and mallet with their team as part of a tournament championship. And I am pleased to introduce you to them today. From 14U, JP Hurlbert of the Dallas Stars Elite. From 15U, Jakeb Lynch of Omaha Mastery AA. From 16U, Cooper Snee of the North Jersey Avalanche. And from 18U, goaltender Brooks Barofsky of the Milwaukee Junior Admirals. And guys, I want to welcome you. It's awesome to have you. I'm looking forward to diving into what makes you a champion. Brooks, I'm going to start with you with that said. 3 goals against in 3 games. It's fantastic stuff. First off, congrats to you and your team on winning.
Thank you very much for that.
Yeah, no problem, man. Hey, listen, winning is winning. It's always a good feeling, right? But look, I know as a goaltender, you're often referred to as the backbone, but in reality, your position's often misunderstood and pretty much overlooked at times in terms of preparation and everything you need to do to be a great goaltender. So for all the goalies out there listening, as a champion, as an MVP, can you tell us how you mentally prepare for games to make sure that you have a top performance?
I just can do the same routine every practice, every game. Just gets me in the right mindset to know what I have to do on the ice.
Right. And in terms of, your position, right? A goal goes in, you have to forget about it right away. It's not something you can focus on. For maybe the younger goaltenders listening out there, what is your advice to them on how to stay present and keep moving forward to kind of have a championship caliber execution?
Well, like when you give up a goal, like one thing I do is I always just skate to the corner, and by the time I'm back in the net, I forget the goal happened. Just sooner you can do that, the sooner you can focus on the next save.
Yeah, it's a great point, right? I think that's part of your position that really even forwards and defense should dive into because, I find sometimes on the bench, players, especially young players, can get lost in their last shift or the upcoming shift or fear of not getting played. Again, as a goaltender, you're in the net. That's it. You're in, hopefully, for the entire game. So do you think that ability is something that's important for all players? And then how does your team execute that during a game?
I mean, it's hard to tell for my team since I'm obviously just in the net and I'm not on the bench with all them all the time. But sometimes you hear some chirping back and forth between each other about like this and that, but it's always just important to forget what happened on the ice and just focus on the next thing, good or bad.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And again, so much of hockey is about capitalizing on other people's mistakes, right? But in the net, it's either you win the game or you made mistakes. And again, I always think that the goaltenders never get enough credit for everything that you have to do. And, when coaches say, hey, just stop the puck, it's really just part of the job, isn't it? It's a mental job, a physical job, so forth and so on. So I think you said are you a Chicago fan? Are you a Blackhawks fan?
Yeah, I'm from Chicago, but grew up loving the Blackhawks when they were winning and now just made my way playing in Milwaukee.
There you go. So you got a favorite player?
This is kind of counterintuitive to the whole Blackhawks thing, but I love Juice Saros. Another short goalie. You can learn a lot from him.
There's no judgment here today. I think it's healthy to like players outside just the team you grew up with. Full disclosure, I grew up a Flyers fan, and we're not in the best of times right now, so I can understand where you're coming from. But congratulations for 2010 to 2015. That was a good run there. Cooper, I want to turn to you now. You had 6 points in 5 games to lead the Avalanche to a title again. Congratulations. It's fantastic.
Thank you.
No problem, man. You mentioned in your questionnaire that you have good leadership qualities off the ice. Could you dive into what those types of things are and why that's important to a team to be a leader off the ice as well as on the ice?
You kind of just always got to have like a positive mindset because, like, say they score or something or someone messes up, just got to give them a tap. Like whenever someone gets off the ice, I always try to just give them a tap, tell them good shift, just keep everyone going, have a good mindset on the bench.
Yeah, I think that's super important too. And I think it's underestimated when you look at winning championships, how demeanor on the bench and how a team holds themselves is really important. I'm sure in this tournament at times, you know, there might have been moments where you go, you know what, we got to get the next one, or maybe a team scored and took some momentum away. How important is it from your point of view that a team bounces back from that mentally as fast as possible? And again, is it just saying, hey, let's get up for the next shift, or is that something that you kind of turn to the left, turn to the right, and you know that your teammates are fighting for each other?
I mean, with a group of kids on our team, I know like we all like to battle for the person next to us. So it's kind of everyone always just battles for each other. So it's not something that like one person always focuses on. And like getting the after someone scored and like getting the next goal, it's like you just can't really sit there and focus on it, because then it's just like, what are you doing? You kind of need to just like get right back into it and try to forget about it.
Right. And do you think that that's something that just comes naturally, or do you guys do things together off the ice to kind of build that team camaraderie, like team dinners, team building? I mean, is there anything beyond just the hockey?
Yeah, we're all pretty close off the ice, so it kind of helps with everything. But
Right.
I mean, I'm sure some of it comes naturally, but we're all pretty close.
No, that's important, man. And like I always say, and you hear the NHL players talk about this all the time, right? That when you're done playing, and hopefully that's going to be a long time for all of you, but what you really miss is the people sitting next to you, right? And the people that you play with. Like, you miss the locker room. So I think that, you know, good locker room culture is really essential, not just to winning, but to making the game fun, right? Like, without that, I'm sure all you guys would agree that if it's not fun with the people you're playing with, what's the point, right?
Yeah.
Right. Totally. So good stuff, Cooper. Thanks. And Jakeb, you led your team 8 points, 5 games. Again, fantastic. I also love that you said you found your love for the game at 3 years old when your dad took you to the Air Force Academy rink up in Colorado Springs, I believe. Walk us through that memory and how it sparked your hockey career. And I'll tell you this real quick. I had the opportunity to go to that outdoor game there a few years ago, you know, before the world shut down, to watch the Kings play the Avalanche. And it is quite a sight. It's a pretty cool place to be. But tell me about that memory.
Yeah, you know, my dad grew up playing hockey. He played college in Minnesota, so it was kind of just a thing he thought I should get into, and he just brought me to the rink, and right as soon as I hit the ice, I loved it, and I always wanted to be around there, and I just picked it up. I loved it.
Yeah, no, I hear you on that, man. Look, again, all of you, I'm sure will be with me on this, that I remember the first time I skated, I knew this is it for me right now. Again, I'm twice your age, which is not a big deal, but I still have that same love. And anytime I think about the first time I skated or watched hockey, it still comes up, right? And that's what's cool about these tournaments that you guys get to play in, is that every time you step on the ice, it's like a place of peace, right? Like, everything seems to just make sense when you do that. So again, Jakeb, I was talking about this 8 points in 5 games. Talk to me about your teammates, because again, nobody does this alone, right? Like, how did you guys fare in the tournament together, and what brought you guys to that championship?
Yeah, we all had the same goal of winning the thing, and we knew going into it that's just that we had to play as a team and can't have too many individuals out there. We just gotta all do our parts on our team, and eventually we'll get out there and win. And we all played well. Yeah.
No, listen. Let me put it this way for you, pal. What you just said has a lot of impact. You had a goal communally, like you all had the same goal of winning this thing. You understood you had to come together. You just said no one does it alone. We all say these things, but they're insanely important, because you can't win without them. I call it a team bond. You can't win if that doesn't exist. And again, I think you said your team is 9-0 right now. So things are flying high for you right now, but it's because you guys are so close together. And it's what I was talking about with Brooks and Cooper as well, right? Like, you have to have that cohesive team unit to find success, right? And because, look, I'm sure other teams had superstars as well that were scoring a lot of goals, but truth is this: you want to win the thing, it doesn't take one person, it takes everybody.
Yep.
So that's fantastic stuff. And last but not least, I'm going to turn to JP. Now, I love reading this: 12 points in 5 games, including 9 goals. Wow. You clearly have the scoring touch. How do you practice at home to work on that?
Well, I've always had a net in my backyard, and I put up targets and put them in every corner, and I've been doing that since about 7 years old. So kind of get the muscle memory down.
I love it. And I'll tell you why I love it. You got a net, you got targets, you got a stick, and you shoot. It's that simple, and again, like, look, there's a lot of great training aids out there, and I'm not knocking any of them, but at the end of the day, picking points on your net and doing it over and over and over again and creating scoring touch does it. And again, Brooks, as a goaltender, I'm sure you've got stuff as well. Don't worry. But yeah, man, I'm with you on that 100%. JP, let me ask you this too. You also mentioned, I found this really interesting. Your team has a lot of new players this year, new goalies, and then there's heavy turnover. So how did you come together so fast to find success? Because in talking to Jakeb, we just talked about this, his team knew, right? They had to come together. You've got pretty much a new team there. So what was the secret to your success this past week?
Well, I think it all started in the locker room. I think everybody's really gotten along together so far, and it just started as a team first attitude. Everybody plays for each other, and hopefully we develop a winning culture. Yeah,
I love it, man. And again, does your team do anything off the ice to help build that?
Yeah, we work out as a team every Tuesday and Wednesday, and I think it starts in there, pushing each other, competing against each other. It really just helps everybody out.
Yeah, I agree. And again, I encourage all players, all teams to find those things to do off the ice as well as on the ice. I mean, look, the games are awesome. I love playing too, but the time you spend with your teammates and building those conversations and building those friendships really does apply to on the ice. I think, again, you guys would all agree with that. And again, never misplace just simple training tools, as JP said, of just shooting on a net at home. You do anything else training wise, or is it just kind of repetitive, few hundred shots a day at the targets?
No, I'm on the ice about 2 hours a day, and just repetition. Keep it going.
I'm envious. So the last question I have for you guys, I'm going to kind of go across the board. We talked about the golden mallet. So for those of you not listening, it's not just the golden medal here. I just wanted to get your thoughts on lifting the mallet. I'll go across the board and you just tell me what that felt like. Brooks, I'll start with you.
Oh, it's just an awesome trophy. You always just play for like that normal gold cup looking thing, and then to play for something a little more fun, just give a little more push.
Yeah, Cooper, how about you?
Yeah, it was pretty sweet. All the boys kind of knew that, like, from the beginning of the tournament, we all kind of wanted just to get that, and it was pretty cool, and we did.
Yeah, I bet you it makes a pretty cool picture too. Jakeb?
Yeah, it was pretty special. The boys got to hold it up, find that we finally accomplished our goal of winning the thing, and we all just came out of it, and we're ready for the next weekend.
Yeah, life moves on, right? And JP, how about you?
Yeah, pretty special moment. Definitely a different trophy. It felt good to hold up with the boys.
There you go. Well, for everybody listening, look, you got 4 different champions here. You got 4 MVPs here. And what are the commonalities, right? They're team first type people. You can hear that in their answers. 2, they put the work in on and off the ice, right? Each one of these boys here, it's not just about game time, right? The prep went in before and afterwards. And number 3, with all of them, there's a mental toughness here. There's an understanding of no matter what happens on the ice, you got to move forward. I got to do it with my teammates. I'm not by myself. And that's the true way to win. And I'm sure all of you would also say that while you are the MVPs, right, nobody gets that award alone. Your teammates play a major role in that. And that's really the beauty of hockey, right? It's a team sport, and we all got to work together to be champions. So I just want to thank all of you for being on today. This was fantastic, and congratulations to all of you and your teams on a successful tournament.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
you, guys. No worries. So thanks so much for listening to this edition of the Champion Circle. Until next year, wishing all of our MVPs and you the best. If you'd like more information on this tournament or any of the other tournaments, visit SuperSeriesAAA.com. Again, that's SuperSeriesAAA.com. So for Brooks, Jakeb, Cooper, and JP, I'm Lee Elias. Everybody have a great day and skate on.